Hi, welcome to U.S. Immigration Talk live show Q&A, questions and answers, where we take your general questions about U.S. immigration live here at every 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm headquartered in Los Angeles, but we help clients all across the world, excuse me, with their immigration cases. Their location doesn't matter for the cases that we do. So if you're interested in asking a quick question, get a general understanding of the immigration process, feel free to shoot that here. We don't do every type of case, but if it's something that we focus on, I'll let you know, and I'll give you a quick shout out with that. You don't have to ask the question over and over again. Usually we catch them all. So for the next 30 minutes, we're here. I'm an immigration attorney, primarily focusing on marriage-based cases. So if you are interested in that, download our free guide, 50 plus pages, has a beautiful chart breaking down the process. Go to the website, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's marriageimmigrationlaw.com to download the ultimate marriage green card guide we have there. We also help people with extraordinary ability, national interest waiver cases, that people in the top of their field, and people creating small businesses in the United States, the E2 Investor Visa Program. Aaron, good to see you, as well as Gurpreet. I appreciate you tuning in. Some of our regulars coming on different channels on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And so let's jump at it. Let's start with Officer Asfar says, is it unusual nowadays that parents are requested for adjustment applications? It's not unusual. I mean, it's sometimes they always did that. But it's going to be more and more now with the new administration. It's not something particularly unusual, but it's just the name of the game right now. They are back to doing in-person interviews. So for many years, they stopped doing in-person interviews for 99% of the cases when you're doing a green card process in the United States, known as adjustment of status, Form I-485. So they would just approve the case, send your green card, unless there was a particular issue they wanted to research or have you come in person, or just a fluke. But now they're requiring for everybody. We've had a ton of our marriage green card cases have interviews in the last 30 days. All of them went well, thankfully. But that is something to expect if you're going to apply for a green card in the U.S., to have an in-person interview with USCIS. Payal asks, if a U.S. citizen is sent back home to their country, when can they come back? Technically, U.S. citizen is their home country now is the U.S., so there's no being sent back. So that shouldn't happen unless there's an error, and that'll be fixed. But it's not something that's typical, or there's a response to, because it's kind of like, it's like if the sky stops being blue. That's what it really is. So just they have to denaturalize you, go through the whole process. So it shouldn't be you being sent back. So that's a big fear people have nowadays, the Trump administration, weird stuff they're doing, but it's definitely not illegal. Kayla says, how can I get my work permit expedited after submitting my VAWA case? You have to, I don't handle VAWA myself in our office, so I don't want to get too much into it. But if you have an I-765 case pending, for example, you have to contact them with a reason for expediting and do that. But we do some with VAWA cases, but I don't do the VAWA in our office, so I don't want to talk about it too much. Chico says, if my wife gets a 10-year green card, can we live outside the country? No, as a green card holder, your wife has to be permanently residing in the United States. If there's a need to go out for extended periods of time, you should apply for a reentry permit Form I-131. If it's related to your work or her work or something like that for an international company, potentially you should get these other exceptions that help for citizenship. But until essentially she's a citizen, she's not supposed to be residing outside the United States, with some exceptions, again, like the reentry permit one. But the rule is, your green card holder, you got to be living here. We have a question, will Haitian TPS be terminated? That's not up to me. It's up to the government. Mehan says, which documents should we present to the National Visa Center for Mom's Green Card, please? Well, that's it's a big discussion. I can't say exactly what is needed in your case, but for the basics, your birth certificate, it depends on who the petitioner is, there to show their relationship. If we say it's you, a son, your birth certificate listing your mom as your mom, her marriage, divorce records, a passing of a spouse, for example, and then her birth certificate, her passport, medical checkup, passport photos, financial documents related to the affidavit of support if it's a family-based case, and potentially police certificates from countries she's lived in, resume maybe, birth certificates of other children. Those are the basics. There may be more that are unique to your case, but that's generally it. If the government has sent you paperwork listing exactly the stuff they're looking for, so your NVC or National Visa Center package that they send you has all this information there. Pyle follows up, can you apply for asylum visa in your home country? No, asylum, it's not asylum visa. Asylum is if you're in the United States applying for asylum at the border, you could apply for refugee status to the UNHCR, United Nations Council. I don't know what it stands for. I forgot what it is. I don't deal with the UNHCR, but that's going to take forever, and it's not really helpful. So it doesn't really work the way you're referencing it for asylum visa. JS, I don't have conditional 2-year green card, but I got an I-751 letter for extension, 48 months letter. That's weird. We got to see what's going on. I'm not sure. You're saying you got a letter saying to file the I-751 or you got a receipt for it. So that's something you should schedule a private consultation. There are cases. So let me back up what an I-751 is. If you get your green card based on marriage to a green card, let's back it up. If you get your green card based on marriage and the marriage is less than 2 years old at the time the green card is issued, the green card you get is called a conditional green card. It's only valid for 2 years, and the conditions are that after 2 years or close to 2 years, you have to file another application form I-751 to renew and get a 10-year green card. At that time, they're analyzing whether the relationship was real. They're double checking, make sure it wasn't a fake marriage kind of case. So that's what you're looking for. Now, what happens is sometimes people get their green card and it should be a 2-year conditional green card, but on it says 10 years. It's a mistake. Or vice versa, it says 10-year green card, but it's supposed to be a 2-year green card. So these things happen. You got to analyze the dates and make sure they're correct and stuff like that. But I would need to see the paperwork you're referencing, Jay, to be able to give individual legal guidance on that. Chris Marr, one of our regulars, good to see you. Says, hey, John, just my I-45 approved. Congratulations. Want to say thank you for always easing my mind through the process. LOL. You're welcome. I was telling a colleague of mine, I get thank you letters from people for helping him, and he couldn't believe it. So I said, so regularly we get our clients and people on the show thanking us for helping him. Just the stress of it is an important part of it too. And he couldn't believe it, but it's like, that's how you do it, man. Just helping. And I'm very happy you got this case done. Hopefully the green card comes in the mail very soon, hopefully next week. Other than that, I think you probably already left a message. I got to be selfish, but Chris, I think you've already left a review. But if you haven't, we'd love a 5-star review. Just type in JQK Law on Google. You don't even have to write anything. Just the stars are good. That'd be really cool, but you don't have to. But congratulations once again. That's awesome news. Lauren, good to see you. Sefer, a lot of our regulars love his handmade. But thank you for coming on the show again on Instagram. Nice Melody says, I'm a naturalized citizen. I received that nasty email from ICE 2 months ago, and I thought it was spam. Should I worry? No, they're sending nonsense letters. I can't tell someone in particular if they should worry or not, because I don't know your background or your case, so I can't give that kind of legal advice. And so that's why I can't say if you should worry, because I don't know what you did 5 years ago and stuff. But generally, it's nonsense. But individually, I can't advise on that. Chris, yeah, I remember that you did. So I really appreciate it. Thanks ahead of time for that. But congrats. That's wonderful news. Just mark your calendar for citizenship so you don't file late on that. But congratulations once again. Esma says, if my mom entered illegally over 22 years ago, but self-deported over 15 years, can I file for her? So we got to get more information on that. If you're a U.S. citizen over 21, you could apply for your parents. If she entered illegally 22 years ago, but left 15 years ago, she's already out for over 10 years. She's waited the 10-year ban, so that's good. But we got to get more history. Did she leave, stay a year, leave again, and then re-enter again illegally? So we got to get all her information about her entries and exits to see how it looks. But that's the potential. That's the estimate. That's the potential. We schedule a consultation. We do these cases regularly with our office. We got to get more information. We got to see how when she came, did someone come with her? We don't want to get charged with alien smuggling or something like that. There's a lot of stuff we got to go over. Juan Campos, good to see you. Hopefully see you in Colorado for the national conference this year. Sorry, Glassy, it's good to see you as well. Frank says, should I file both I-824 and I-130 for my family? Frank, I'm guessing you have the scenario where the first I-130 went to the wrong location. So you saw my videos. It says, file an I-130 to reset it, get a new one, or file I-824, see whichever one happens first. If you got the extra money to spend and you have you're a U.S. citizen, not a green card holder, green card holders, it's not worth it right now because the process for an I-130 takes so long. It's kind of worthless. But I think you might be able to save the old priority date if you do I-130. It's kind of complex, but yeah, why not? Give it a shot, Frank. Nice melodies. Thank you. You're welcome. Nice melody. Probably you're okay, but I just technically can't give individual guidance here. And thank you for the gifts, Esme. Mihan says she doesn't have a birth certificate, so how can we do that? So Mihan, that's why I should have a lawyer before we got him into this stage. If she doesn't have a birth certificate, you got to see why and what can be done about it. That's where we got to get a good lawyer. Pyle says, does going to mental health counseling and therapy affect your immigration status? Not unless there's a sort of finding that you have a mental health disorder that creates a serious harm to yourself or others, and it's not dealt with. But if you're just going because you have depression or something, but you're not a threat to anybody, then that's not a problem. Frank, I think you're welcome. Hitchcrest says, please, can you send me your contact? So Hitchinet, go to our website, jqqlaw.com/contact, and fill in the information there if you want to schedule a consultation. The website is jqqlaw.com/contact. Marisol, I think you're one of our regulars. I've seen your name before. Is AP safe to do right now? Generally, for most people, it is, but that's individually, I don't know if it's appropriate for you or not. Stephanie says, can I renew my passport if my social security has a maiden name, passport has married last name? Yeah, I mean, just update the social security office. That's easy enough, but that's not a problem. Excellent says, can I travel 2-year valid green card? I can't provide individual legal guidance because I don't know about your background. You might have a unique circumstance that says you can, but generally people can travel. I just can't give individual legal guidance. DC5 says, time frame on the I-751, are they getting interviews? They are, but 2 to 3 years, so it takes a while. Jeffrey Maynard says, thanks, sir. I've been in the U.S. for 18 years with asylee for 15. I filed a marriage-based green card. I took a few short trips to home country. Could that create an issue for my case? I don't know, Jeffrey. I got to get more information. First of all, I said I've been the 18 years with asylee for 15 years. So you got asylum 15 years ago. I filed a marriage-based green card. I got to get more information, Jeffrey. There's just too much going on there. So that's a private consultation that's needed. Danielle says, if I have it denied for a green card in the past because of overstay, but I have my green card now, is it safe to travel? I don't know. That's a really crazy situation. I got to see why the denial was and how you got a new green card and what background you have. So I can't tell you if something's safe or not without really sitting talking with you. And even if it looks perfectly safe, you never know what the government's going to do. And they can just, they deport people they shouldn't deport sometimes. So I can't give that level of certainty. By the very least, the most obvious, reasonable stuff we could talk about, but this is too case specific to be able to talk about it here. Love is Handmade says, thank you for doing this. I wanted to know if I'll get a 10-year green card when sponsored by a company, or do I get a temporary one for 2 years? Thank you very much. You're welcome, Love is Handmade. Yes, a 10-year green card. The only times you get a 2-year conditional green card is if you're married, if you get your green card through marriage and the marriage is new, or you're doing an investment-based green card, EB-5 program, which is fewer numbers of that. So 100% you're going to get a 10-year green card if an employer files for you. Okay, Esme, I already answered your question. Esme left, never came back. So we got to look at her history. You probably can. It's going to take probably 2 years, but we got to get more information, Esme, about your mom, see what's going on. Please schedule a private consultation. The website is jqqlaw.com/contact. Molly asks, what's the process for me meeting my fiance in Nigeria? I don't know what you mean, process for meeting your fiance in Nigeria. Please clarify what you mean by that. Love is Handmade says, amazing. Thank you. You're welcome. I wish you the best in the employment-based green card process. Ned asks, what should someone do if they receive an email to leave the U.S. if they came as parole? That's a personal decision what you want to do. If you're, that you can contact immigration in private to review your options. Camila asks, how complicated is a case with an individual who came here on a K-2 visa? How complicated is just, there needs more information to know what's going on there. So I don't know. It's a case. It's for us, it's work. So it's really complicated probably for you. For us, maybe complicated, maybe not. But that doesn't give enough information for me to really get a coherent explanation or just answer for that. We need more information. Thank you, Camila, for the badges. You're welcome, Maricel. And did AOS did adjustment of status interview 1 month ago? How long should I wait for decision? There's no fixed time frame. Mira asks, is the waiver to enter the U.S. for fingerprinting in the border? Is the waiver to enter in USA for fingerprinting in the border? I'm not sure what that means, Mira. I don't know. I have no idea what that means. Sorry. Jamie says, what does oath ceremony will be scheduled mean? It means that we'll schedule an oath ceremony. Kim says, timeline for USCIS. I went to filed November 6th, California Service Center. 6 months, 18 months average, somewhere in between. We got a lot of repeat questions. Patricia asks, is it safe to travel outside the U.S. with an I-551 stamp? Safe? Is it safe to get in a car and drive to work? Some people get hit in car accidents. So for most people, it's okay, but it might not be safe. You got to, first of all, see if the I-551 stamp was appropriate for you, whether you have appropriate background, the easy stuff. So if your car, for example, is on fire or its tires are busted and you're driving on it, or you have oil in your engine, we got to check that stuff out first. But then, there's always risks. Juju says, my mom has 2 expedited deportations. Does she need an I-6-1, I-212? She's been in Mexico 10 years. She's going to 2 expedited deportations. That means she's got a permanent bar. So, yeah, she needs everything, the whole kitchen sink, and it's going to take forever. So you got to schedule a private consultation, but most likely she'll need all of that. It's going to take a long time. Cam says, I'm enlisting at 18 in a couple months. How does that help my parents, my sister, sponsors in a year? Well, you could get what's called parole in place. That's it, and that fixes the fact that they enter without permission. But if they enter without permission, left, and then re-entered again, it won't help the permanent bar. So, Cam, we got to see what's going on in your individual case and what's happening there. Dot Chat says, is it possible to get an interview before getting work permit? Yeah, that happens all the time. Nancy says, is my EAD pass E-Verify if my just AOS gets denied? My EAD pass? I'm not sure what your EAD pass means. Is it E-Verified? E-Verify is a system where employers could check your social security number to make sure you have status or not. If your adjustment status is denied, they typically will deny and void your EAD, so it shouldn't work. So that'll be foul of E-Verify. The computer system probably won't realize it, but that'll probably won't. But that's technically how it happens. Morales says, any news about green card sound based? Are they still paused? No, there's no official word that said they were paused, but no news that I have other than the rumors. Okay, Nancy, I think I answered your question on the work permit. It's going to get voided usually if they did the paperwork, if the government does the paperwork right. Scarlett, thank you for joining and for following as well. Please shoot out your questions. I think we got some here on YouTube. Let me see. Hi, John. Thanks for being here. You're welcome. I have an interview for marriage-based green card adjustment status in June. I am hearing rumors that people are being arrested by ICE. Do you have any experience in that? Yeah, I mean, some people are, especially in Miami. They've been a big news report about it. It depends on what your background you have, particularly if you have a arrest background or if you enter without authorization when you enter the United States. For a typical case, that's just like a typical marriage case. No, it's not. Nothing's going to happen. Daniel says, my husband was a green card holder and applied for a green card, but I overstayed my visa, so they denied because of that. Yeah, a green card holder spouse doesn't get the overstay forgiven. Your spouse should have been a citizen. There was no point in filing that adjustment of status case. That was destined for failure, unfortunately. JL says, hi, thank you for the time. I'm in Florida. Do you help here? Do you have an office in Orlando? I don't have an office in Orlando, but we help everywhere. All the paperwork we do is on mailing stuff to the government, so our location doesn't matter unless certain unique circumstances happen. Please schedule a private consultation. We can get into it. You're welcome, Batman. Scarlett says, what is the process for the K-1 fiance visa? Scarlett, please download our guide. It's a long conversation to have here. I want to get to more exact kind of questions, but we have a detailed 50-plus page guide with the charts and all the videos and breaking down every part of it. Go to website is marriageimmigrationlaw.com. The website's marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and download the ultimate marriage green card guide. It goes through the K-1 and marriage process, and through that, you'll have a better understanding. So then if you want to schedule a private consultation, you can really ask good questions and not have generic stuff. You'll have that answer already through the guide. It'll be really easy to go through that guide too. But thanks for your question. Good to see you. Talk to Purple. Jack says, hi, do I need an immigration attorney to apply for derivative citizenship? I would like to apply for my passport. I don't know how to go about it. Any pointers? Yeah, just at least have a consultation with the attorney to figure out what's going on there. We get it all the time. People contact us. We even get the passport, and then 2, 5, 20, and sometimes 30 years later, the State Department takes it away from them because they didn't apply for it properly. So the best thing to do is just talk about how you got your derivative citizenship, how you could document it, if you properly got it or not, so you don't go 20 years down the line, get married, and realize you're not a citizen or have it taken away from you. Aggie says, 42B approved. How long does it take to get a green card? We don't have no court cases, so I don't want to comment on 42B cases. King says, is this safe to fly domestically? I don't know. I don't know. Everything's changing, so I can't give that kind of certainty something's safe or not safe. Well, okay, Nancy again asks, will EAD be approved by E-Verify if AOS is denied? E-Verify doesn't, it shouldn't. But I don't know. E-Verify is a computer system, and they may approve it, may not. It's not supposed to, because if your AOS is denied, they should void the EAD, the work permit, and so it should be out. But whether E-Verify will realize that or not, these are government computers. I don't know. It's not. You're not supposed to work. That's a violation. Why does it say join my team? Juan says, hi, I'm a U.S. citizen, and my wife is here on the U4U program. I need to get her a change of status as well as her daughter's step. What forms are required? Approximate timeline for approval? Thanks. One, there's no approximate time of approval regularly, let alone right now, where they've claimed that they're pausing U4U adjudications until further review. What forms are needed? Download our guide, Juan, Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. The website is marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and they'll have like what's going on there, and then schedule a private consultation if you want us to do that. 10 years green card can petition for some people, for spouse, for minor adult unmarried children, minor children, adult unmarried children, those, yeah. Thank you, Texas boy, for sending me hearts or something like that. Juju says, my mom, or answer your question, Juju, my mom has to expedite deportation. She needs all the waivers and more. So please schedule a private consultation. That's a complex case. Not something we really get into over here. Chris, good to see you. Rahman, good to see you as well. Mir follows up. Is it approved that if you finish a degree in USA, you'll get a green card automatically? No, it's never going to be approved. That's like not that was just some nonsense Trump said for out of randomly at some podcast, but never going to be the case that you get a degree and they'll give you a green card. I wish it was. I mean, why not? I mean, not necessarily wish it was because that's like too easy, but that's not happening. All right, we got 10 more minutes. Shoot out your questions about U.S. immigration law. If you're interested in the marriage green card process, download our guide, the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. The website is marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Song says, so it's yes to petition my husband, even on a 10-year green card, same Filipino. Yeah, as a green card holder, you can petition for your husband. It's going to take like 5 years for you to bring your spouse here, but it's better you would have been a citizen or naturalized. It'll be somewhat faster. Sadaf asks, hi, can I go into another country for a visit my green card refugee green card? I'm not sure what you're saying. I think you're saying, can you like travel countries as a refugee green card? Yes. Don't go to your home country and get a refugee travel document. You'll need to get a visa to go visit that country most likely. So you got to get a refugee travel document from I-131 and then check out which country you want to visit and if they require visas or not, or how they handle refugees or asylees traveling. Island says, can I travel domestic with international passport after May 7th undocumented? The passports are considered real ID. Whether there's going to be issues or not because you're undocumented, we don't know. Enforcement rules change constantly. Song says, thank you for your clear answer. I do appreciate you. You're welcome, Song. Yeah, definitely, if you're a citizen, it's massively faster. Green card holder filing for their spouse is going to take at least 3 to 5 years. If you're a U.S. citizen, probably 1 to 3 years. So it's a big difference. You should look into this if you can naturalize Form N400. You're welcome, Sadaf. I wish you the best. Island says, in the U.S., what was your question? Can I travel? Yeah, I said. Text voice says, green card says 1995, renewed 2 times since up for renewal. Any concerns? Have no record. I don't know your background. You don't have the records. Will be probably good. Any concerns? I don't know enough about you, Texas boy, for me to make that kind of judgment. But thank you for the gift badges. See, a lot of this stuff is kind of like calling a doctor and saying, like, I have a small cough. Is that lung cancer, or is it just like I was partying out late too much last night? It's like it's a wide variance of things that are possible. So you got to come in. We got to check you out as a video meeting, and then see your documents, and then just ask you a lot of questions about your history to see if something pops up. Adam says, how long does it take to get a green card on the J Treaty? It shouldn't be long, but I've never applied for a green card on J Treaty. The J Treaty says people who are Native Americans that live across border between the U.S. and Canada could get green cards. They're entitled to them. But I've never filed a case like that, so it's not something I've experienced in. Rachel says, hi to you too. Rooney says, is there an interview for a green card? Almost always nowadays there is. Mira says, if I buy a multi-property building over $1 million, would it be a way to get a green card? Very unlikely. There's a program called the EB-5 Investor Program. You have to invest the money and create jobs. A multi-property building probably won't create over $1 million. Probably not going to create 10 full-time jobs as a requirement, so very unlikely that will work out. Roy Cass says, has the process of the I-130 form and average time been affected this administration? So the process hasn't been affected. Average times, not really. And you got to keep in mind, there's different types of I-130s. Rachel says, how long is I-485? It depends on your background. It varies. There's big differences in these cases. So, if you're an Indian person who is a tech worker engineer has an EB-2, that's going to take 20 years. If you're brother and sister of a citizen in Mexico, that's going to take 20 years. Or if you're married to a green card holder, it could take 3 to 5 years. Married to a citizen, 1 to 3 years. It's like, it doesn't work. It's not fixed on these. There's a lot more information needed. Plus, the government's unreliable. We never know how long anything's going to be at the end of the day. Danielle says, now my husband is a citizen. I got my green card. Is it safe to travel since I was denied when he was a green card holder? I can't give anyone the certainty of saying something's safe for travel. It probably is, statistically speaking, but individually, I can't. I don't know. Even if I study your case, frankly, I can't tell anybody whether it's safe to travel or not. It probably is, but it's just something that you got to take. I can't. Let's put aside the immigration stuff. I said this for people watching already. Is it safe to get on a plane? Planes crash. I can't say it's safe to get on a plane. Probably it is, statistically speaking, it is. But people do die in plane crashes. So I hate to be so gory, but that's the kind of question you're asking me. I'm not allowed to say that. I'm a lawyer, so I have legal requirements. I can't just come here and say you're all good because I get sued and lose my license if I say something like that. Camille says, it's safe to fly to Florida with a work permit and social security number. All these questions about safety to travel, it's not something the certainty I can give you. And he says, is it true joining the military can expedite your citizenship from green card from 5 years to under a year? Can you talk more about that? Yeah, if you're in the military, I recently had clients get their citizenship 2 or 3 months after joining the military. So it's much faster, expedited citizenship in the military. Thank you, NE. Abu says, is it possible to get approved I-751 less than a year? Thanks. Yeah, I had a case, it's rare, but I had an I-751 case for a client. He was married, obviously married to 751, but he had 2 children. He had twins that were born soon after getting married, and they approved that case in 6 months. Prince says, is this safe? Apply for asylum now? Yeah, if it's a good case, yeah. It's, you got to do. It's not about a safe or not. I mean, if it's something you got to do, you got to do. All right, we got a couple more minutes. Please shoot out your questions. U.S. immigration. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. If you want to schedule private consultations, the best way to do it. Go to our website, jqklaw.com/contact. That's jqklaw.com/contact. Schedule a private consultation to talk about your case. Dan says, thanks, John. Anyway, you're welcome. I wish you the best. I wish I had better information, but at the end of the day, what can you do? Prince Corvette says, real ID necessary? What's coming into place is going to be law, so you have to have real ID. Saddam says, another question. I have an Iranian passport and green card, so for return to U.S., I don't have any problems. I'm living here and I have a job and I pay tax too, so I'm just worried about that. So if we got refugee status, asylum status from Iran, technically you're not supposed to use the Iranian passport. Now, historically, they don't enforce that law, visiting your home country or using the protection of your home country, such as their passport. But under this administration, I would not want to mess around with that, even though historically they just let it go in those rules. And he says, what are the first things you advise green card holders to do after they get their green cards? Don't take a copy of the front and back of the green cards, have it, put it on their calendar to do citizenship, make sure not out too long. But that's about it. I mean, if you move, you got to change your address, form AR11. We have an automated list, but from AR11, when citizenship is, don't vote or register to vote or claim to be a U.S. citizen. Update the Social Security office if you that's your green card holder now. If you previously had a Social Security number, that kind of stuff. It's more practical admin stuff. I mean, for C1D, is it possible to apply for asylum? So anyone can apply for asylum, even if you came in as a crew member. Rachel says, phone number, please. It's best to contact us through our website. Go to jqklaw.com/contact and fill that short piece of the question and contact us there. Sandy says, how much time for I-485 approval? Who knows? I don't have timelines. It's not reliable, so I don't want to give bad information. All right, now we really only have a few more minutes. So shoot out your questions about U.S. immigration. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Take your questions live about general education, comments and commentary and responses about U.S. immigration process. If you're interested in the marriage green card, download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Or even if you're not doing a marriage green card case, download that guide, see how much information I'm giving for free with a PDF. That's 50+ pages. You'll be amazed. You're like, oh, this is a great lawyer. He's giving away the secrets. But it's there. People need this help. Most people can't afford a lawyer. So it's part of our duties to share as much as we can. Please share this live feed and invite your friends so they can hear about it, they can ask their questions. I know a lot of people have questions about the U.S. immigration process. It's very complicated, and so it's very stressful. Kimmy asks, can I apply for a B1? Visit probably a B2 what you do, but while having an I-130 in progress, you can definitely apply for it. Whether they'll give it or not is up to the officer's discretion at your consular interview. Sometimes they do. I'm always surprised. Sometimes they do. So it depends on your background and luck. But if you feel like dealing with the cost associated with applying for a tourist visa, give it a shot and see what happens. The main thing for us is that all your information is true and consistent. So there's questions on the form DS-160 that asks, do you have a petition ever filed? You say, yes, I have a I-130 petition. It asks what family members you have in the U.S., parents, siblings, spouse, fiance. You have to list all those people. Make sure you're honest. Your social media, all that kind of stuff. Your social media hopefully doesn't have anything controversial about, against America's interests or something, all that kind of stuff. Could it hurt the I-130 process? No, unless, again, you lie or make a bad mistake in the B1 application. So pending 2 years. Sorry to hear how long it's taking, Kimia, but as long as you don't just mess up the tourist visa application in a whole bad way. And he follows up, EB1 based green card holders, they need to remain in their field to apply for citizenship. No, they don't ask. Are they also any benefits for such people compared to other green card holder categories? No, other than the fact that there's pre and processing and the visa bulletin is faster for you, but there's no other benefits. Now, when you file for the I-140, you say, I'm going to continue working in the field. So if they don't enforce it because they don't know the rules when they do citizenship for the EB1A. But if you say, as soon as I came in, I did something different, it's not good. If the 1 in a million they do ask. But if you eventually change, things change in life. Yeah, Alda, thank you for joining us. Kimia, you're welcome. So let's go back to TikTok. We got some questions there or not. Harry, thanks for joining us. And Roy Cass, thanks for following the show. Via the form I-130 process. What's the rest of your question, Roy? I didn't catch the rest of it. It just says via the form I-130 process. All right, we got like literally 1 minute left. Aman asks, I have a derivative asylum. Oh no, I don't know what I did right now, but I'm. Hi, I just connected with you. It might have been a mistake. I'm not sure. Liz, how are you doing? I can't hear you too well. I'm not. I have different videos, so unfortunately, I won't be able to talk because I have different video feeds and won't be able to hear you. But I'm not sure how to get out of the screen. But I was in the show anyways. But thank you everyone for joining so much. I'll see you all next week, 4 p.m. Pacific. And Liz, sorry I didn't catch the talk, but feel free to contact us through the website to schedule a meeting if you like. Have a good one. You got it, Nee. You're welcome. All right, everybody. I'll see y'all next week. Bye bye.